We want information. Information. Information.
Who are you?
The new number 2.
Who is number 1?
You are number 6.
I am not a number. I am a free man.
Monster Shop.
We want information. I sound like a Dalek when I do it.
Yeah, no, you don't. You're all right.
Do you know when I just loved this when this album came out, this Number of the Beast album. I don't know. There's just something about it, and it's bits like that.
Yes, yeah.
It just kind of, I don't know, just absolutely hooked me. I was like, but who's number 1?
Yeah,
who is number 1? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
So, so we were talking through WhatsApp, as we often do, during the week.
Oh, you're gonna make me remember something now that's not gonna work.
And we said about The Prisoner.
Yeah.
And then you said it was the TV thing.
Yeah.
And I just went off on one about Port Merion.
Oh, yeah. Port Merion, you've been there, haven't you?
Yeah. They did a festival called Festival Number 6. And of course, that's
where it's from.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Festival Number 6 is because The Prisoner was filmed there.
Yeah.
And, you know, that thing you've just heard there, basically. That was where it came from.
It comes from and says, you are number 6.
Yeah. Sorry, one more thing.
Yeah, go on.
It's mad there.
Is it?
You should go there if you've not
Port
been.
Merion?
Yeah, you should go.
It's mad in a good way.
Yeah, good mad. Yeah. Like the guy who kind of like, I don't know what you'd call him, like curator. It's like a village in a town that's curated.
Right.
But it's curated to look like a sort of, I don't know, like a kind of like a fantasy version of what a Mediterranean place would look like.
Oh, wow.
But that's what the whole town is. The whole town is like, honestly, it's unbelievable.
I think my favourite mad place is Barry Island.
Barry Island?
Yeah.
Where is Barry Island?
It's mad. It's in Wales.
Is it?
Have you never watched Gavin and Stacey?
No.
Don't watch it. I don't think it's your kind of thing. It's very funny. And people go there. It's rubbish. There's nothing to do. It's Barry Island. And it's been on the telly.
Okay, so that's where to go.
It
sorry, I interrupted you twice then because I had to blurt those things out.
I've forgotten. Yeah, I forgot what. No, I remember what I was going to say. The Prisoner, the beginning of The Prisoner. The Iron Maiden song, "The Prisoner," that speaking, kind of.
We're doing Iron Maiden.
Iron
Maiden, The Number of the Beast. That's what we're doing this week.
Yeah, we should announce that we are a podcast and we do that.
You're Neil, I'm Chris. Blah, blah, blah,
but it says, it says, who are you? It says the new number 2. Who is number 1? And then you are number 6. I'm not a number. I'm a free man. All of that. The bit that's fascinating. If you look online, there's lots of people that claim Nico McBrain spoke it.
Yeah.
And Nico McBrain is the drummer for Iron Maiden.
So I thought it was from a clip from the show, but it wasn't a clip from the show.
They recorded it.
Yeah.
The bit that's fascinating is it wasn't Nico McBrain because Nico McBrain wasn't
even in the band.
It was Clive Burr at the time. But Nico McBrain does it live. If you see them now, it is Nico McBrain doing it now.
Yeah.
But at the time, they paid an actor to do it.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I thought was it a copyright thing? Do you think they have like copyright if they use the thing off the show?
I don't know.
I suppose it'd be hard. It's not as easy now, is it? You just go on YouTube and rip it off and then put it on. You wouldn't have been able to do that back in the day in 1982 when the album came out.
It doesn't say. It just says, so while the lines are faithful to the TV show's iconic opening, they were specially recreated for the album rather than being directly sampled from the series.
Because there's the thing about Iron Maiden. This is one thing. I actually did some homework this week.
No way.
Yes. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was that before I saw Iron Maiden live, I didn't understand Iron Maiden. I didn't get it. I didn't.
You were there with Kiss as well, didn't you?
Exactly the same. Yeah, it was that same download festival. It was the same weekend. I'm sure it was.
Oh, well, you're right. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That was a big like classic rock.
Yeah, it was
kind of learning journey for me that weekend. Yeah. But with Maiden, I was like, oh, it's kind of like Python. It's kind of like
it's
kind of like on the it's kind of like
it is.
This really tongue in cheek. It's kind of like it's poking fun at itself. It's you know, it's like theatre, but everything's amped up, but it's not taking itself too seriously. And the whole Eddie thing, and then he suddenly has like a massive sword fight, and there's something a little bit pantomimey about it in a cool rock way. And then he puts like a jetpack on and starts firing flamethrowers about and all that. And and then this massive plane comes out at the end, and you just think, oh, it's a spectacle.
It's
a show,
isn't it?
show.
Yeah.
And you're right. I had exactly the same with Kiss. But then you listen back to the albums and you go, it's always been that.
Yeah.
It's always been this. It's never been anything different.
It was quite unique, I think, wasn't it? And you got to think like the Number of the Beast was their third album.
Yes. And they had the different singer before this album.
They did, yeah. Paul Di'Anno did Killers and Iron Maiden. But before that, like, he had quite a punky voice, I think. Quite a, I don't know.
Paul Di'Anno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Bruce Dickinson's a bit more operatic.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
a bit kind of more. He's got a lot more range and quite a clever guy as well. I think.
He's done all sorts of stuff, hasn't he? He's like a pilot. He's like
everything.
Karate champion or whatever it is. Taekwondo.
We once watched him when they. I think it was the Book of Souls tour.
Or judo, wasn't it? Judo champion.
Judo champion. Yeah. Fencing. He was in the Olympics for fencing.
Fencing.
But he flew a 747 over East Midlands Airport into download. And it was just one of those things. I had little radio, so I'm a bit of a plane nerd.
I remember you took the picture of him. I remember.
And I got some brilliant pictures of the Ed Force One, it was called. Yeah. But it was the most bizarre thing. We had the radio. Me and my mate were there, and we were kind of waiting for it to come in. Had the radio on, and then you hear Bruce Dickinson talking to the tower at East Midlands Airport, and you're like, that's Bruce Dickinson. And it was the most bizarre thing ever. Yeah. And then literally he wears, he doesn't like fly in a jeans and t-shirt. He's
got the gear.
Yeah. And even though he was like, because he actually worked as a Icelandic Air or something. He worked as a pilot because you can't just fly a 747. You're not allowed to just fly one. And he really wanted to fly a 747 on this tour. So he worked for years. He went and got his pilot's license, got his commercial pilot's license. Then you have to go and fly so many like 737s and blah, blah, blah. And then you're allowed to go and do your 747 and stuff. And then eventually he did it. But,
wow.
Phenomenal guy. Fascinating guy in interviews, I think. He's really amazing too.
He's the sort of guy where you look back at his life and you sort of think, have you fit all that in, mate? Have you done all that?
He doesn't watch. I just think he's not got Netflix. I think he gets up in the morning
and actually does stuff.
And he's like, what should I do today? I know, I'll learn to fly a plane. Whereas I get up and I'm like, oh, do you know what? There was a YouTube video about Formula One I wanted to, so I'll watch that. and then you get down a rabbit hole about calculating pi or the history of
only you would do that. You just fall down that
history of mathematics, or is zero a real number? And then it's lunchtime, and then you're like, oh great, it's lunchtime now. Might as well have a sandwich and that's it. Day's over now. I can't learn to fly 747s today. Whereas Bruce has already gone. He's done it. Bruce has gone and done it.
Well, he's done it, so you don't have to. That's the thing. Before it falls out of my brain, I want to come back to the voiceover stuff. Yes.
We talked about the voiceover in The Prisoner, and there's also voiceover in The Number of the Beast.
Yes, we're going to play that in a bit.
And it was really interesting because that was an actor.
Yeah. Was it the same actor that did The Prisoner one? Different one.
And where it gets interesting is...
was it Nicholas Lyndhurst? I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from.
We'll talk about that
later. He went back in time, on that programme.
We are going to talk about that later. It says, Vincent Price was initially considered for the spoken word part in The Number of the Beast. The band or their management reached out to Price, but he reportedly asked for a fee that was considered too high. How big a fee do you think he asked for to speak those words?
What year was it?
1982, I think.
£20,000?
£25,000. £25,000 to say a few words.
Yeah.
So they told him to get lost. And but it's interesting that so that was Vincent Price, and eventually the band got Barry Clayton to do it.
From Barry Island.
From Barry Island. He was known for his work on horror radio shows.
Oh, wow.
So he
So it wasn't Vincent Price?
No.
He didn't do it?
He didn't do it. He wanted too much money, so they
got someone else.
Told him to do one.
Can you say this like Vincent Price? Is that what they told the Barry?
Yeah, we'll give you 24,000. Yeah, it's really interesting. It says it said despite Barry Clayton being the one who actually recorded the part, many fans and even some media outlets wrongly assumed that it was Vincent Price. This misconception persisted for years, likely because Price was so closely associated with the horror-themed spoken word performances, and many believed it was within his style. Yeah, and the band clarified it was indeed Barry Clayton who performed the spoken word introduction and has been credited accordingly in official releases and interviews since the album release. But again, that spoken word bit, again, 16 tracks. I think it was done on 2 16 tracks again. We spoke about Pink Floyd last week.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah. And again, this one, manual desk.
Yeah.
It's a manual Neve desk, I think.
Yes.
No whizzy fader bit. So when you wanted to do a mix,
you got to do it by hand.
You needed a boy to move your faders around.
Fader boy. You had to be promoted to fader boy.
Yeah, you weren't unless you weren't
allowed. Or fader girl.
Yeah, you can imagine them just don't touch the knobs. You can imagine some man would have a beard and he would say, "Don't touch the knobs." But it was all done manually.
Yeah.
And we'll get into how it was recorded a little bit in a minute. We'll play some music and stuff, but. I think this just sounds phenomenal, just like Dark Side of the Moon to me. Yeah. There's a space, there is a sense of like dynamic in this record.
Yes.
Which like modern rock records is like a slab of wall. You're punched in the stomach from start to finish. And I think they lack the finesse of these albums.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you play them back to back, if you play like something modern, thick and heavy radio rock from the US, compared to this, this sounds really weak and feeble afterwards.
Yes.
But what I find is if you have to turn this needs to be turned up a lot more.
Yeah,
you got to turn it up like double the volume.
Yeah,
and then your Iron Maiden starts to sound just phenomenal.
Yeah,
whereas your American radio rock starts to hurt your ears.
Yeah.
And I think this
because there's actual dynamics in it. It's not just slammed.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. You get to hear this kind of it's a lovely air and kind of space to this one. Well, what should we start off? What should we play?
I think we should play a little bit of, because you were just talking about the intro that Vincent Price didn't do, that Barry Island did. So I think we should listen to the Number of the Beast in full so people can experience the things you've just discussed.
Let's do it. Let's rock, Barry.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
I left alone, my mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams were the reflections of my Walkman staring back at me. 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there, the evil face that twists my mind and brings me to despair. This
Absolute banger. Banger.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep. I think I studied to my GCSEs to that album, and looking back on it, my friend we were reminiscing a little bit this week, and I had a desk, and I had like a third of that desk was taken up with my record player,
right.
And then I had these massive speakers that we bought from a man called Baz in Birmingham.
There's a theme. There's a theme in this episode.
And but the speaker, I had like it was it wasn't a particularly big house, and my bedroom wasn't particularly big. Oh, the speakers were massive. And I'm talking,
Jammo.
Oh, they were these were enormous things, right? And anyway, my friend was reminiscing over the fact that while I was studying for my GCSEs, every time he would come in there, I'd have my record player on. It was always Iron Maiden playing, and I'd have these massive speakers, but they would be like 3 inches from my head. It was just like wearing headphones. But yeah, excellent album. Lots of fantastic memories of that. Do you know what I don't remember though? And is interesting because it's kind of related to that song, Number of the Beast.
Yes.
Is there was a huge uproar in America, in Freedom Land.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they didn't like it and they burnt it.
Really?
They all burnt it.
Because it was talking about the number of the beast.
Well, yeah, it's from Revelations, I think.
I thought it was like
the 666 bit, the number of the beast, and they said it was like glorifying Satanism and stuff.
Which is weird because the Book of Revelations, a lot from, and this is my limited understanding of the world of Christianity, but a lot of people don't kind of go for that one.
No.
They like the first one. A little bit. They really like the second one. So the Old Testament, that's kind of like the Moses stuff,
right?
And the kind of pre-Jesus,
and
the Adam and Eve and all that.
There was a lot of murdering in the Old Testament.
And it's shared across a number of different religions.
Smiting.
So, yes, that's
There's
it.
a lot of that.
And then the second book, so this of the trilogy, is the Jesus one. That's the Jesus book,
right?
And it's from the.
You're brilliant at this.
I know. I like.
You've taught this.
I like
you?
this stuff. Yeah. And then the third one is like the revelations of like the end of the world and the horsemen of the apocalypse and all of these kind of things. These themes are all.
Yeah.
That's
your heavy metal one.
Yeah. That exactly. Yeah.
Right. I'm with you.
But a lot of people they don't
like the heavy metal
do the
one.
third one. No, they don't. They don't.
They kind of more Radio 2 and do the right.
So because they like the second one, they like the Jesus one.
Right.
So yeah, that's that. And then so the third one, a lot of rock, like a lot of themes of rock and metal music comes from the third one.
Well, what I liked about it was the album cover. So Derek Riggs did the album covers. He did all of the kind of first few of the album covers, and we'll talk about Derek Riggs in a minute because I think he's wicked. But the cover to this album is dead cool. It's like Eddie the Head.
Yes, yeah.
Manipulating Satan as a puppet.
Wow, right.
And I just think it's really cool. And I loved this album cover. I think it was the Iron Maiden logo itself, which I just thought was just epic. You've got to have a T-shirt with Iron Maiden on it. That's just the law. And then
I haven't.
Haven't you?
No.
I've got to buy you one now.
Yeah.
But then you've also got Derek Riggs drew these things, and if you get the chance, go onto the YouTube and check out, and there's some articles about Derek Riggs. They work on these massive boards. It's not like it's like 10 times bigger than the album cover itself, but just phenomenal, absolutely extraordinary artist, and brought this
proper
creature, this kind of creature to life. But it's just so cool. All of the album covers, I think from 1980, I'm going to tell you the ones that Riggs worked on, right? So Riggs worked on Iron Maiden, Killers, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I think that might be their best album.
Seventh Son of Seventh Son.
I do. Yeah. I just think that was about peak Maiden. I just think.
How old were you?
It was 1988, so 40.
It's that age again.
And then he did No Prayer for the Dying as well. He also did the concept for Fear of the Dark, although he didn't do it. And then it moved over to Melvin Grant, and then Hugh Simon did some of Melvin Grant, and then Mark Wilkinson has done some as well. They kind of fell out. The band's management and Derek Riggs fell out a little bit.
I don't like it when people fall out.
Well, Derek Riggs said that they were given lots of short deadlines.
Oh, right.
So, like, we need the album cover done, done in like a week.
Oh, gosh.
And he didn't like that. And he also didn't like the fact that he wasn't getting enough creative freedom
Right, it was, can you draw Eddie doing this? Can you draw?
I think if you look at those albums that he did, especially the first few, he was taking so he didn't need creative direction.
No.
He was just like, give me the album, give me the lyrics, and then I'll go and create the cover. And I think it changed. I think that changed a little bit. But
isn't that interesting, that power dynamic and the creative freedom? Because,
yeah,
I think we've all done that, haven't we? Where we've been involved with things, then all of a sudden it becomes like a bit more dictatorial, and then you're like, oh, no.
Well, it's 10 years. So 1980, the first Iron Maiden album was 1980.
Yeah.
And then the last one he worked on was No Prayer for the Dying in 1990.
Right.
And he said he was getting burnt out as well.
Okay. Yeah.
But I have to be honest, if you like, I love the modern Iron Maiden albums, but there's just something super special. That run from 1980 to 1990, so from Iron Maiden to No Prayer for the Dying, their album covers are phenomenal. They are some of they've got to be up there with some of the best album covers on the planet ever. The concepts are phenomenal. There's just I don't know. There's just some super cool stuff, like Somewhere in Time, the detail in it, and all of the kind of there's all the references to the songs and the lyrics, but also to songs and lyrics from other albums. From their past albums. Yeah. And I don't know, I love that. I think it's not that album covers these days are, I don't know, then it's not the same. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not that then the people aren't paying attention to them and putting the effort in, because they are, but there was just something like super special about those album covers, I think. So should we do a bit of an interview?
Yes, there was one that Bruce Dickinson did, where he was talking about the process of recording The Number of the Beast, the song itself, and also the kind of the setting and the things you're talking about, like manually moving the fades and all that. Right. There's a wicked interview that's to do with all that. So
let's because it was what's the date? It's 2024.
Yeah,
and this came out in 1982.
Yeah.
So what's that?
Maths.
Yeah, I've got a degree in maths. I'll do this.
Should we put it on and then we'll give the answer?
That's 42 years.
Yes, there we go.
42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. Let's do it.
We had no idea how big it was going to be, how big the influence was. And we were very young and we played very fast and we were very aggressive and we were like, which those other like slightly older classic bands didn't have, because it wasn't who they were, but Maiden was a different animal. We were sort of fierce and snarling and snapping at everybody, and it was great. As to recording the album, I mean, we had unusually at the time, we had most of the songs and we were rehearsing them, so we thought we had a fairly good idea of what they should sound like. Martin, the producer, Martin Birch, turned up for a couple of days at rehearsals and nodded his head and went, yeah, okay, fine. And then we started recording it. And actually, we were the last band to record at this particular studio, Morgan. And we were the last band to record on this ancient Kodak mixing desk, but no automatic faders, no computers, nothing, all on 24-track magnetic tape. So a mix was start at the beginning, and you better get everything right until the end of the track, otherwise you've got to go over and do the whole thing all over again. So there'd be like 3 or 4 pairs of hands all doing little moves on the faders at different times. I did most of my vocals in a dilapidated kitchen, so it had been stripped out and there was nothing in there except a load of wet plaster on the walls and me. To say there was a natural echo would be an understatement. So that was me in there. It was a great experience. And there was a kind of a big party atmosphere throughout the whole thing. In fact, we actually made a wall of those those 7-pint beer cans where you go it's a party sevens, whatever they are, kegs. We actually had the entire wall of the control room was actually a pyramid of kegs of beer that we drunk during the proceedings, and we'd be up till 4 or 5 in the morning, just like, after we'd finished recording, listening back to what we'd recorded until basically the producer said, right, you need to go to bed because you've got to come back again and do this all again tomorrow. So there was a really great vibe, and we thought this feels special, and it was.
I think that was the interesting bit for me, was the the fact that they had a good time doing it and that it's fun, and you have this idea that if you're writing heavy music or like rock music or whatever, you've got to be angry and you've got to be like an angry person. You've got to kick off all the time, and that whole thing was like, other than having to do the take 4 million times, but the general thing of like, it's actually quite a party thing. And when you get the vibe right, it's a party. You can hear it on the record. You can hear everyone's up. You can hear everyone's like in a good frame of mind. And I think that's really important, because I think there's a tendency to like when you watch someone doing acting. Yeah, and then they're really
doing
good at
acting.
it. Yeah,
is that what they call it? God, do acting.
and then they're so good at it. Yeah, that when you sort of meet them and you think, oh no, they've got to be like, because they're like method acting, they might have to be really mean to someone, or they've got to, and actually you find out about it and they're actually just having a giggle, and that sort of thing, and then their camera goes on and that's it, they're acting, they're pretending. I
love those pictures, the kind of behind the scenes pictures where do you know what I mean, where you can see, because you know people by the character they play.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a brilliant bit of oh god, my brain's gone funny. Who's the wizard? Who's the wizard? The young
Gandalf?
the young wizard. The young
Harry
wizard.
Potter.
Harry Potter. And who was the bad man in the
Voldemort?
Cape? No, not that one.
Snape.
There's
Alan Rickman.
Yeah, I love Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely, obviously those two are, like, Snape is actually a goodie, but you think he's a baddie all the way through.
Yeah.
And then
thanks for that. It's really ending.
There's a lovely behind the scenes bit where they're just mucking about and they're both in stitches. You're just absolutely killing themselves with laughter. And I just love it. I just think that's, I don't know. I think that's epic.
Yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, with the album, just that thing you ended up talking about there was just like, it's a party. You're having a good time making it.
Yeah.
It must be weird though. Like, it's the same thing as the ACDC thing. It's, 2 albums in, and they've kind of got a thing, and then suddenly this new guy comes in, and he's now got to kind of do it as well, and you know, and he became quintessentially what Iron Maiden is. It wasn't just.
Well, he became the front man, didn't he?
Yeah, yes.
But it's worth talking about where the music comes from, because the music comes from Steve Harris.
Yeah, you see, I didn't know this.
Who plays the bass?
Yeah. And everything else.
Yeah, he. Let me just. I'm just gonna read you some things about. So he wrote "Run to the Hills," "Number of the Beast," "Hallowed Be Thy Name," "Aces High," "Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner," "Wasted Years," "The Trooper," "Fear of the Dark." Just all of the songs, right?
Yeah.
So Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson also wrote some.
Yes.
Did some together. And Adrian Smith and Steve Harris have written some together, but Steve Harris has written like
he's
most
kind of the main guy. Yeah.
If you go through and look at it, he wrote all the big singles.
He always wears good trainers. Blue jeans and good trainers, like not what you'd expect a rock star to wear, just like Nikes or something.
Looks dead cool. I think it's just one of those. It's when you hear him in interviews.
Yes, yeah.
He's just dead chilled. It's just like yeah. It's what we do. Yeah. But it's interesting because he writes it all. He plays the bass and he's really famous for playing the bass.
Yeah.
But he writes the songs on the guitar, then writes the bass lines. And then kind of gets the band together once he's kind of written everything.
Yeah.
But just the lyrics as well.
That's great, isn't it?
I'd always assumed Bruce wrote the lyrics.
Yeah,
because you just do, don't you?
Yeah, because
you just do. You're like, he's a singer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve Harris. I'm sure Bruce gets involved in.
Yeah.
And Bruce has got writing credits for quite a lot of stuff too.
That's really interesting. And the other thing, because like Run to the Hills.
Run to the Hills.
I just like the idea of like, like demoing that. And and like Steve Harris sat, and there's no recording of it.
Yeah.
It's Steve Harris like doing the noises. You know, like it starts off with dun 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 like that, and then the guitarist goes wah wah wah.
Well, and he can't play it. It's just
no,
it's
just sings it. It sings it,
it.
and then the band's got to listen and go, okay, Steve,
Got it?
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I get the feeling I get the feeling if he turned up and played it, and then like Nico McBrain did different drumming, I can't imagine he'd be difficult about it. I can imagine, like, yeah, whatever. Apparently, Adrian Smith is very difficult.
Oh,
so the rumours, and I don't know how true this is, but Adrian Smith apparently is an absolute perfectionist, and I think that makes it difficult for producers and engineers. If you're working with somebody that's kind of that driven, do you know what I mean? When it's like Friday night and you're ready to go home, and then I go, like another 18 takes, please. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Watching the clock, we've got 3 hours.
Yeah, I think it shows. And apparently, I was reading that he is the same with the live sound as well. So if you ever see Iron Maiden, they sound great. They always sound phenomenal. And a lot of that is down to Adrian. So I read anyway that he's absolutely obsessed with.
It's got to be right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He won't let anything. If it's not quite right, Adrian's the one going, no, need to do it again.
Wow.
You know, we've talked about lots of albums where that's the producer's job. Where the producer will kind of go, no, you've got to do 5 million takes. Yeah. But in Iron Maiden, I'm sure the producers do too. But a lot of it is.
That's really
Adrian
interesting.
Smith.
So speaking about the live thing, my introduction to Iron Maiden was a live recording of a particular song.
Oh, you were talking about this. In our previous incarnation as a show, we played some tracks from this album, Live After Death.
Yes,
I remember this too. The bit I really love about it is that introduction. We'll fight them on the beaches. The Churchill speech. They do that live, and it's just it's epic. Yeah. So what are you going to pick from this one?
So it's Run to the Hills. It's Run to the Hills itself. And you always used to do you always do all the bits. Yeah. But it was there's a particular compilation album. That I can't find.
Yeah,
I can't find it now. Like like you got Discogs and those sorts of things. You can go on and look. Mm-hmm. There's this. I thought it was the greatest rock albums in the world ever. I thought that was what it was called.
Like Volume 7.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't find it. This particular one, and it had like again, like your brain plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
But it's in my memory. Yeah. It had like things like Stiltskin Inside on it.
Oh,
it had
crikey.
Word Up Gun. It had Boys Are Back in Town.
Word Up Gun has to be, I think, the best cover version of any song ever.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's just so good.
It beats the original.
It does, yeah. And I like Bread Fan. We're going to go off Bread Fan by Metallica. That's a good one as well.
Yeah.
I forgot what were we talking about.
Run to the Hills.
Run to the Hills.
Yeah. So this particular album.
Yeah,
like it was every song was the studio recording except this Iron Maiden one.
Right.
So it made me think because because compilation albums don't exist anymore. People just share playlists.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Back in the day, there were these kind of curated sequences of like thematically linked songs or songs of a particular genre. That would then they would have been released by the label and the publisher to do this. So my hunch of what's happened here, sorry, I'm going somewhere with this, is is that the label didn't release the recording of it to be used on this compilation album. Yeah. But the publishers did.
Right.
So they're allowed to use the song.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to use the recording. So they chose to use a live version of the song.
Wow.
That's what I think may have happened.
It's complicated music law and legal stuff is. Shall we play it? I like the beginning of this.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is the version of it had an intro that was different to the one that you sent me.
What?
So you sent me the one that
from Live After Death.
Yeah. But at the end of the song before it, there's this bit where he shouts, "Run to the hill." So I had to make you send us that version of the so I could edit it in so it's the same as the version that I listened to.
Oh, I love it. I'm excited already.
Don't know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Oh, mega.
I think the live version has more energy than the studio version, but I think this is a strange one because I'm so used to that version.
Oh,
the actual studio recorded version.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like the definitive version of that song to me. That does. It's
That's
so strange,
really
isn't
interesting. Yeah, you're right though. Like Aces High, Number of the Beast, lots of tracks off that Live After Death album. I remember having that too, and that became my like de facto like Maiden. If I if I wanted to listen to Iron Maiden, it was Live After Death that I listened to for a long time. That was in my first car as well.
Yeah, there was 2 others like that for me as well. 3 others actually, both of them by one band. So Nirvana, Muddy Banks of the Whisker.
Oh, we've talked about that before. Yeah,
and then the MTV Unplugged.
Yeah,
and then Counting Crows, the Across the Wire album.
Gotcha.
For some of those songs for me are the definitive version of the songs, not the
live version.
Yeah, not the one that's on the record. Yeah.
That's pretty epic. We've got another interview clip, haven't we?
Yes, this is kind of a couple of members of the band talking about. Bruce talks about we were talking about the kind of perfectionism and doing things. Yeah. He said the amount of time spent on the first 4 lines of the song. He talks about that, and then just a few bits about they didn't quite know what this was going to be for them, if that makes sense. So it's quite nice. Yeah,
it's similar to the AC/DC Back in Black, wasn't it? Where they did it, they knew it was good. They knew they liked it, and they knew it was a good album.
Yeah,
but they didn't realise what was coming next.
Yeah,
that's great.
When astrologers talk about a planetary lineup, this conjunction only happens once in a blue moon sort of thing. What you have in Number of the Beast is the sort of the musical equivalent.
We thought it was a good album, strong album, but that's about it. You don't think, you don't sort of walk out the studio and think, wow, we've just made history. You don't think like that.
The time was right, in 1982 things were just perfect.
Beast wasn't really a concept, it was just an actual song that I wrote. That title, we decided to call it that.
It was like we were ripe, we were ready for Number of the Beast.
It was different, it was unique from anything else that really was around, So I think that's one of the things that created this sort of spark.
We spent about 4 hours on the first 4 lines, to the extent that I got so pissed off I was throwing chairs across the room. And in the end, I was like, what do you want? And when he got the one that he wanted, he was like, yeah, that's it. And I just sort of went, why? Why? I don't understand. And now I understand a little bit better.
Yes. I can see you're scanning the notes.
Am I?
That means you're about to do facts.
I'm going to launch I'm going to go fact boy on you. It just dawned on me, we're not talking about the commercials for this one.
No.
Number of the Beast, 20 million album sales, which is loads.
Yeah. It's quite a few albums, yeah.
And it's just bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just think it's absolutely mad. 2 singles from it, Run to the Hills and Number of the Beast. Run to the Hills reached number 7 on the UK singles chart. Number of the Beast reached number 18 on the UK singles chart. They weren't a household name at this point.
No.
They were kind of known, but they weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't as like mega as.
Like you said about this, kind of like the AC/DC thing. Although, and I suppose AC/DC were quite big by that point, weren't they? But that thing of like this album did the thing to the band or the brand of the band that got them into the household name territory, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, I'm going to do my 5 things you might not know about Number of the Beast. So, for every one of these shows, we do a comparison blog, a companion blog, and in the blog, I do 5 things you might not know. So the track Number of the Beast was inspired by a nightmare that Steve Harris had after watching Omen 2.
Really?
Yeah, he said the unsettling dream fueled his creativity. We've already talked about this a little bit, but upon its release, the album faced backlash from religious groups who mistakenly believed it promoted Satanism. The controversy only served to boost its notoriety and sales, making it a defining moment in the band's career.
That's interesting as well, isn't it? The fact that there's no bad news. You know what I mean?
It's bonkers.
It's like if something goes right, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah. I want it. It's like when you ban something, isn't it?
Yeah,
as soon as you ban it, everybody wants it.
Everyone wants it. Yeah.
The number 3 was the iconic spoken word introduction on the Number of the Beast was performed by actor Barry Clayton, not Vincent Price. Hallowed Be Thy Name one of Iron Maiden's most celebrated tracks, was a last-minute addition to the album, written quickly by Steve Harris. It has become a staple in their performance. The reason they had to do that because the album was too short. It's only 40 minutes with Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Huh. That's a long song as well. They need to fill 7 minutes then.
Yeah.
That's why it's so long.
Yeah,
you just write a long one.
Yeah, you just fill it up. Fill it up. And then the album. So the album, Iron Maiden's first UK #1 single with Run to the Hills.
It's a tune, isn't it?
It's mega.
It's a proper tune. That.
It's been used on TV.
Yeah.
So it's the track "Hallowed Be Thy Name" was featured in the hit TV series Supernatural.
Really?
They have a lot of rock.
I was going to say that's come up a few times.
They have a lot of rock.
I thought you were going to say Heartbeat with Nick Berry.
They get in like a really cool black car.
Yeah.
And they have like an 8-track thing.
Yeah.
And Gemma loves Supernatural.
Right.
Your Gemma.
Right.
Ask if she can remember.
Remember Iron Maiden coming on? Which one's that? You know, the
she'll be like, what?
Oh no, not that song, is it? Sorry, different song.
But then they ram the thing in and they play some rock,
Yeah.
which is great. Movies, Murder by Numbers, 2002. And The Number of the Beast was included in it. It's a psychological thriller featuring Sandra Bullock and Ryan Gosling.
I had an 8-track.
Did you? I thought you said yes. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Right.
No, the words, you were saying the word. I was thinking about something
You weren't
else.
listening,
No,
were
I
you?
wasn't listening at all.
I was talking about Sandra Bullock.
Speed. She was in Speed.
Murder by Numbers.
Sorry, I wasn't. I didn't
let's get the 8-track out of your brain and then we can
Can
move
I just
on.
talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
So I had the tape, the actual 8-track tape, but not a player.
No way.
Yeah, I had a few of them.
I had a car with an 8-track.
Did you?
Yeah.
See, what we should have done is gone
we could have got
88
together.
miles an hour,
Yeah.
gone back in time, met, put the tape in.
That would have worked.
Sorry, Murder by Numbers.
Murder by Numbers is the Number of the Beast is in it. And it's a movie, a psychological thriller. I've never seen this. And it's got Sandra Bullock and Ryan Gosling in it.
Yeah. That must be fairly recently then.
2002.
Oh, not recently.
I don't think Ryan Gosling wasn't alive then, was he?
If he was alive, he hasn't aged at all because he still looks fairly...
I don't know.
That was 20 years ago, didn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, remasters and reissues. 1995, it was redone for CD. 1998, remastered again with enhanced sound quality, part of the EMI reissue campaign.
Right.
Obviously, they wanted some money for the piggy bank. 2015, it was the first remaster for vinyl.
Right.
The vinyl resurgent. It was really
yeah.
for. And then 2020, they did a remastered version for the streaming platforms, high resolution. So we talked about that process before, but they go and fetch the tapes out of the cupboard.
I'll resample them.
Stick them in Pro Tools, remaster them, and then out they go.
And they sample them at the correct sample rate.
Yeah, you messed it up last week, didn't you?
I've done well these last 2 weeks. I've done technical mistakes on both songs, whilst praising my editing skills and how good Pro Tools is in the shows.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm not going anywhere with that. That is.
For those of you that listened in early to the Dark Side of the Moon show, the actual
Music.
It started off.
Yeah.
No, because I fixed it. We were speaking too fast.
Oh yeah,
and we sounded a bit like chipmunks because it was the wrong sample rate. And then I fixed that while we were here doing the thing last week. And then when I did it, because I changed it, it made the music too slow.
It did.
And then fixed it.
And that was a bit bonkers, wasn't it? But we got that sorted. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about on this album? I don't think there's. I think I'm spent.
Yeah.
I think I'm done. What are we going to end with?
We're going to end with what we started with. But the actual full song. Because it's got that drum fill in it. It's got that in it.
I just love it. I just love the whole who are you? I am number 2. I am the new 2. I love it. It's that kind of cut glass, like British. I don't know, like the news used to be done like that, didn't it?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hello.
Bring it back, I say.
I do.
And American videos from the same era.
Oh, they had
that television voice. It's brilliant.
The radio. I love it. My somebody I work with is learning how to be a public speaker.
Yeah,
like what I do.
Yeah.
And I wing it. So I
the
read,
Book of Neil.
I read a lot and I make really cryptic notes and then I basically just stand up and like just do it, right? He really struggles, so he's kind of reading it, and he kind of takes on this. I don't know. He kind of takes on. It is that kind of hello. Today we shall be talking about this.
That's so good.
And then it's lovely. It's really lovely. But he gets loads of feedback from people saying no, it doesn't sound natural enough. But I love it.
Yeah. I think after The Prisoner finishes, I might do one like
we want information.
Soundly. We'll get Soundly going again and get the voice going.
It's
we'll
lovely.
do a little bit of that voice at the end.
Who are you? The new number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6.
I am not a number. I am a man, not a number. Whatever it is.
It is. It's just. I want to. If you know who number 1 is.
Yeah. Let us know. Write in.
Tell us. I want to know. Who number 1. I don't. What should we do next?
I don't know. But people need to come and see us at monstershop.uk is the website.
Find us on X. We're Monster Shop Rock on X. We're loving it on there at the minute.
Yeah, it's going well, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't do politics. Don't talk to us about politics.
No.
But we love talking about metal and rock and. Let me give you an update on what we've posted about today. Just pad for a minute while I find out.
Yeah. So we've got the X. We've got other things as well, but X and the podcast. What's it called? Blog. They're the 2 things that we do the most.
We asked a question today. It's is Creator's album Coma of Souls from 1990. Is it pure gold or is it getting old? And I would suggest it's pure gold because it's epic. Paramore's album Riot was released today. By today, it's like Thursday.
Yeah.
Last week. Because I'm on holiday this weekend, like before the
normal day we normally get. Yeah.
So we're coming out of that. And Garbage. Garbage's self-titled album was released on the 15th of August.
Good albums, aren't they? All those.
They are, and also I've written some lovely code to query the Billboard 100, the American Billboard 100, and it goes back in time and it kind of talks about what albums and singles are on the Billboard 100 this day in history.
Yeah.
So August 14th, it was Bad Medicine by
the
John Bon Jovi. August 14th, 1988. It was the album New Jersey, and they released singles Bad Medicine and I'll Be There For You. Pink Floyd's Medal was in the charts August 15th, 1972.
Wow.
Which is pretty epic, I think. So we talk about loads of stuff like that. We have some AI generated art. So I get our code to generate like a fact of the day, and then I get. I'm just showing Chris the one it did for Civil War.
That's
by
brilliant.
Guns N' Roses. So yeah, it's a bit bonkers. So lots of that kind of stuff, lots of asking you questions about what your favourite albums are and that kind of stuff. So we do that. We love to talk to you. Obviously, you can give us feedback on the show and tell us what you want to do next. And then the blog is monstershop.uk, and the podcast is what you're listening to now. So I think that's all done. I feel like I should be a radio presenter.
Nailed it there, mate.
We could do the weather. And
rain,
travel, rubbish,
traffic.
Right, let's finish with The Prisoner and we'll see you all next week.
See you later.
We want information.
Who are you?
The new number 2.
Who is number 1?
You are number 6.
I am not a number. I am a free man.